Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 7th of May 2022. First of all, let me thank you all for the great response on our free prelims crash course. We are delighted to help you with your prelims preparation. If you're liking our initiatives, do subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments section as well. This weekend, we are back with Indian Polity Crash Course. Do attend these lectures by your favorite faculty Sarmat sir at 7:30 p.m. today. So we will have Indian Polity 3 at 7:30 p.m. today, as well as Indian Polity Lecture 4 at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, that is the 8th of May, Sunday. Do watch these lectures live. To be notified when we go live, you can set a reminder, and the link to the video is in the description box. Now let us begin and take a look at the first question for today. Consider the following statements with respect to Operation AAHT. Option A, it is an operation launched by Railway Protection Force to combat human trafficking. Option B, it is an operation launched to reduce deforestation by replacing wood used for cremations by a biofuel. Option C, it is an evacuation operation by the Government of India to evacuate the Indian citizens amidst the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Option D, an operation launched to repatriate Indian citizens from overseas during the COVID-19 pandemic. What is the context? The Railway Protection Force has signed a MOU with Association for Voluntary Action, and this it has done to ensure that India soon becomes a trafficking-free nation. And also there is a mention of Operation AAHT in today's PIB article, and that is why we've taken up this question. Now a little bit about Operation AAHT. See, we all know that Indian Railways is the primary transporter for the nation, and therefore this is also a major route for human traffickers for transportation. And the Railway Protection Force is entrusted with the responsibility of security of railway property, the passenger area as well as passengers. And that is why it has launched Operation AAHT. And this operation has been launched to take stringent actions against human trafficking through rail. And through this anti-trafficking operation, close to 1,400 minors have been rescued from the clutches of traffickers. Also, please take a note that as a part of this operation, the RPF or the Railway Protection Force will deploy special forces in long distance trains. And this operation will mainly focus on rescuing women and children from the traffickers. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option A. Moving on to question number 2. Consider the following statements with respect to syngas. Syngas is a mixture primarily consisting of carbon monoxide, hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Number 2, it can be used to produce liquid fuels such as methanol, ethanol and synthetic diesel. Number 3, it can be used to produce nitrogenous fertilizers like ammonia. Which of the given statements is or are incorrect? What is the context? The Ministry of Coal has allowed for a concession of 50% in revenue share for promotion of coal gasification. Why? Because coal gasification is considered as a cleaner option as compared to burning of coal, and gasification facilitates utilization of the chemical properties of coal. And it is in this context that we've taken up this question. So this coal gasification is the process of producing syngas, right? But why produce syngas when you can burn coal? Like we already discussed, it is a cleaner option. Number 2, transporting gas is a lot cheaper than transporting coal. Number 3, it has great efficiency than conventional coal burning because it can effectively use the gases twice. And also, this syngas can be used to produce many gaseous fuels, liquid fuels, and also chemicals. The list is given here. It is used to produce gaseous fuels like the hydrogen, that is blue hydrogen, and substitute natural gas, dimethyl ether, as well as liquid fuels such as methanol, ethanol, synthetic diesel, and also certain chemicals like methanol derivatives, olefins, propylene, MEG, and also nitrogenous fertilizer like the ammonia. Now let us go back to our question. Now, what is the composition of this syngas? See, the chemical composition of syngas varies based on the raw materials and the processes. But syngas primarily comprises of carbon monoxide, hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So statement number 1 is correct. And as we've already discussed, options 2 and 3 are also correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option D, none of the above. Because the question is asking us for incorrect statements. Moving on to question number 3. Which of the following statements best describes the PM MITRA Park scheme? Option A, it is a central sector scheme introduced to create modern infrastructure with efficient supply chain management from farm gate to retail outlets. Option B, it is a scheme launched to create an integrated textiles value chain right from spinning, weaving, processing, dyeing and printing to garment manufacturing, etc. at one location. Option C, it is a scheme launched to bring about sustainable development of fisheries sector by establishing modern post-harvest infrastructure and supply chain management. Option D, a scheme launched for creation of state-of-art support infrastructure in a well-defined agri or horticultural zone for setting up of modern food processing units in the industrial plots provided in the park with well-established supply chain. Why this question? We've taken up this question because there is a reference to the PM MITRA scheme in today's PIB article. So what is this PM MITRA scheme? PM MITRA stands for PM Mega Integrated Textile Regions and Apparel Park Scheme. So if you know the full form, you already know the answer, right? But what exactly is this scheme all about? This scheme that was announced as a part of the Union Budget of 2021 and 22 will offer an opportunity to create an integrated textiles value chain. So the government came up with this idea of establishing mega integrated textile regions and apparel parks to boost Indian textiles at the grassroots level. So these regions and apparel parks could create a conducive ecosystem for entire textile industry so that domestic workers can also improve and also start exporting. So this scheme is also aimed at providing world-class infrastructure to promote exports. Another benefit of this scheme is that it will also create direct as well as indirect employment. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option B. Moving on to question number 4. Consider the following statements. Number 1. Guantanamo Bay is located in Cuba. Number 2. The Florida Strait separates Cuba and the United States. Which of the above statements is or are correct? What is the context? There is a reference to Havana, which is the Cuban capital, and hence we've taken up this map-based question. See, Cuba is located where the Northern Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Atlantic Oceans meet. And right here is the Florida Strait that separates the United States of America and Cuba. So number 2 is correct. Now coming to Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay is located in the southeastern end of Cuba, and it is the largest harbor on the south side of the island. And this area has been a cause of tension between the US and Cuba. Why? Because the US had assumed territorial control over this southern portion under the 1903 lease agreement. And the US practices territorial control over this region. However, Cuba considers it illegal, and that is why there have been tensions between the two countries. So statement number 1 is also correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, both 1 and 2. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2014. In the Constitution of India, promotion of international peace and security is included in the option A, preamble to the Constitution, option B, directive principles of state policy, option C, fundamental duties, option D, 9th schedule. The right answer to our question is option B. Article 51, which is a DPSP, talks about promotion of international peace and security. Is international peace and security there in the preamble? No. It is not a fundamental duty. And the 9th schedule contains a list of central as well as state laws which cannot be challenged in the courts. So this is also incorrect. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option B, directive principles of state policy. Now let us take up the fact of the day for today, which is cooling off period for retired bureaucrats. A topic of interest for all of you all aspirants. What is the context? Archana Goyal Gulati, a 1989 batch official of the Indian Posts and Telecommunications Accounts and Finance Service, has joined Google as Chief of Public Policy after taking voluntary retirement from the civil service. And that is how this issue is in news. She says that she has taken this role up after 1 year cooling off period. And now we will discuss what this cooling off period is. To understand this, let us first talk about post-retirement commercial employment for All India Services and the Central Civil Services. Say for all the 3 All India Services, that is the IAS, the IPS and the Indian Forest Service, Post-retirement commercial employment is covered under the AIS death cum benefit rules. And for the Central Civil Services, it comes under the Central Civil Services pension rules. And this talks about the cooling off period. According to Rule 9 of the CCS pension rules, if a pensioner who immediately before his retirement was a member of the Central Service Group A wishes to accept any commercial employment before the expiry of 1 year from the date of his retirement, he or she has to obtain the previous sanction of the government to such acceptance. And also Rule 26 of the AIS death cum benefit rules similarly restricts a pensioner from commercial employment for 1 year after retirement except with previous government sanction. Right? Was this always 1 year? No. The cooling off period was 2 years until January 2007 and later the government reduced it to 1 year by an amendment. Right? So what will happen when you don't comply with this? See, the government can declare that the employee will not be entitled to the whole or a part of the pension for any period it may prescribe. But the retired bureaucrats can take the permission of the government. Let us assume that you are the retired bureaucrat, right? Now, the government has to consider a few points while granting or refusing permission to you to take up this post-retirement commercial employment. Number one would be whether if you have taken a no objection from the cadre controlling authority and from the office where you retired. Number two, whether you have been privy to sensitive or strategic information in the last 3 years of service that is directly related to the work of the organization that you propose to join. Number three, whether this organization that you are about to join has been in conflict with or prejudicial to India's foreign relations, national security and domestic harmony. And lastly, whether the organization you propose to join is undertaking any activity for intelligence gathering. Right? Now this is all about post-retirement commercial employment. Now you may ask me, can a government servant join politics after retirement? See, while you are in service, the conduct rules bar you from being associated with any political party or organization. It also bars you from taking part in or assisting any political activity, right? But there is no rule to stop government servants from joining politics after their retirement. Let me tell you here that in 2013, the suggestion by Election Commission to have a cooling off period for joining politics was rejected. Why? The Legislative Department of the Ministry of Law advised that any such restriction may not stand the test of valid classification under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. And also the Department of Personnel and Training told the Election Commission of India that its suggestion may not be appropriate and feasible. Therefore, there is no cooling off period for the government servants to join politics soon after retirement. However, if it is post-retirement commercial employment, there is a 1 year cooling off period. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.